New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Rev Cynthia and Rev Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the High Vibe Hour. I'm Rev Skip.
And I'm Rev Cynthia.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. You're back in the hat.
Back in
The Cat in the Hat. Remember that book, The Cat in the Hat?
I used to love
that just came to mind. We're talking about books today, but I'm like the cat because you are a sexy cat, sister. Cat in the Hat. Hey, y'all, welcome to this incredible episode. And I'm grateful. I was saying to Rev Cynthia, I almost called you Dr. Cynthia. Are you going on your doctorate? Are you going to get your doctorate?
Oh, man. Skip, don't.
So, Dr. Cynthia, good Dr. Rev Cynthia, I was saying how cool it is just to hang out with you. Just, we get to have this intimate hour together on the High Vibe Hour. We get to drop into getting to know each other better, though we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And, it's so important that we realize how these incredible moments are unfolding right in front of us. So this is our sacred practitioner hour with my friend, the good Reverend Dr. Cynthia Ambrose.
Dr. Skip, I have so much fun every time we hang out.
It's cool, right? We have a good time. That's what it's all about, having a high vibe, having a good time. How you living today, sis? How's the vibe? How you feeling the vibes? Are you feeling the vibes today?
I am. We are, after the podcast, we're driving out to LA for one of the Conscious Life Expo events that they do. And, necessity breeds, or need breeds necessity, or I forget what the saying is, but.
Yes, I get it. I know that one. It needs, yes. A need will breed necessity.
So
something like that.
It's something to that effect.
But we're making stuff up, and that's okay. That's what we do in this rack. We just make stuff up. It just flies out. If it wasn't that saying, it is now.
It is, right? So something about like if you need something, then you pursue it, right?
Right.
So we're going to a conference that's called the Biohacking Conference this weekend.
Biohacking Conference. For those who are listening to us and hearing us for the first time, please explain the Biohacking Conference. What is that?
So it has to do with healing and healing modalities and technology. So I'm expecting to see like some interesting apparatus, different offerings to assist us with this biosuit that we inhabit. So I'm interested to see, like what is the latest technology?
So in your research of what is the latest technology you've been tapping into?
Red light therapy. Right, and all of the different benefits. I've been working with it here at home, but I imagine that I'm going to be seeing like even further advanced technology at this conference.
Wow. So where we use red light therapy is in yoga studios, yoga studios, because it is a natural light that actually the red light heals the cells of the body, helps to restore. Mm-hmm. And whenever I do a hot yoga class or I teach hot yoga as well, we have the red light therapy lights in the ceiling that radiates down, that creates the heat. Do you feel the heat when you're at home, when you're doing it?
I certainly do.
That's the healing. I didn't know you were doing that.
I bought a sauna and then I bought a red light panel and I hung it inside of the sauna so that I get it like full body.
How big is your sauna?
And it's a portable one. It's not that big. Right?
It's a portable sauna?
It's a portable sauna from Amazon that you can get for a little over $100.
Wow. Wait, only one person can stand it? Is small? You got a one person sauna. Nobody else get in my space. I got a one person sauna, y'all.
Right, when Jesse put it together, he was like, I don't fit in there with you. I'm like, no.
Oh my God. I love it.
I dropped some essential oil into the water. I put on my headphones, turn on the red light therapy, and I start sweating and taking in that light.
Hazel says yes, she should work on her doctorate. What's up, Hazel? What's going
So
on, sis?
thanks, Hazel. Thanks, Hazel.
Oh my goodness, that is so awesome. So, okay, so you stand in your sauna, you have your red light, and you stand there and you just receive. You
And actually,
receive.
you sit. There's a chair in there, right?
Okay, yeah, you need to
So
have a chair in the sauna.
so you sit and you're listening to whatever kind of music you want while the lights are penetrating and the steam is detoxing.
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. So you've been feeling the vibes.
You know, it's like you have to maintain the high vibe. But what are you going to do? What are you?
What are you going to do? I love it. In your travels on the road trip from because if I'm going to Vegas, I'm getting on a plane. I'm sorry, I just don't have the time. I mean, I
Mhm.
love a good road trip. I haven't done it in a while, so maybe I will take a road trip and drive out. Um, so how long is the road trip from Vegas to LA?
About 4 hours. 4
Okay.
hours, and it gives Justy and me a chance to catch up. You know?
Oh, how sweet. And
Yeah.
this is your second road trip in the last, what, 2 months or last month or
Well,
so?
last month I was at Agape on March 23rd, so
That's great.
I drove down with Willard, right? So we had a chance to catch up there as well.
You just love it. I love it. You're like, nothing stops you. You just like, I'm getting in the car. I'm going to the biohack conference. I didn't even know it was a biohack conference. Didn't
I
even know
don't
what it was.
It like crossed my feet, and I said, "Yes, I want that."
And hold on, is there another conference that's happening at the same time with the bio? What is it?
They sent me a complimentary ticket to the other conference that's happening, and it's the Alien Conference. I'm expecting to see a lot of interesting.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. It is so amazing how the biohack and the aliens are coming together.
Yeah,
It might be the aliens who are giving the biohacks. You know, it's actually all one conference.
it really is. I bet you it's them that
All one
are giving this.
conference.
I have a feeling that they're bringing the technology. So,
I love, 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 love that. That is so awesome. I love it.
and how are
Oh
you doing?
my. I'm good. You know, my vibe, I'm feeling I'm gonna say it's high, yet it feels very full.
Mhm.
It feels very, very full. I am not going to the biohack conference, but I am gonna go out dancing tonight. I have friends that we like to go. We love house music, old school house music, deep house. So I will go out dancing tonight and be with some friends, just having a little bit of balance. And we've been talking about this for the last couple of months. Where's Rev Skip getting his balance from? And dancing is one of the things that brings my vibration higher.
Yes.
So we are really in a lot of different things that are happening in our community at North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, a
Mhm.
oneness center, a center for oneness. We've been doing a lot of things, and it's just building because April is here. Happy spring, sis.
Oh yeah.
Happy spring. Happy all the good stuff that's happening with spring, what's bringing in, new life. And our theme this month is Rise. And we just had an incredible panel on Wednesday. And I had Reverend Jason Mitchell. I had Reverend Sherry Hussey from Unity. I had Reverend Susie Lula from Agape. And we were on the panel talking about what it means to rise up. And it was so authentic. It was so rich. And when you can get four ministers together, just have an authentic conversation. We knew people were there, but we were just talking to each other and going really deep. And
Wow.
for me, it was such a inspiration that teaching from transparency is so important.
Yeah.
So the vibe was high on Wednesday. It was so good. Jamie Lula was our music inspiration. He brought the house down. So we had Jamie and Susie in the same house on a
Wow.
Wednesday night, the Wednesday wake up. It was so incredibly dope. It was amazing. Flying high. Then we're moving into this whole time of Easter. So we have Good Friday. And we have Easter, and I love what, a talk title. I don't remember talk title years ago that Michael Beckwith had on a Sunday. If you want a resurrection, something has to die.
Oh, wow.
So it's that time that we're releasing everything that no longer serves in our community. We're going through the process of rising up together. We're talking about how can we rise. And then we have David Altus coming in at the very end of the month to do a practitioner retreat for us. At the end of the month, we have a bunch of authors that are getting together to do their reading, because we're talking about books today, and that's going to be on the Friday night, the last Friday of the month. We're going to be doing an author reading, all the authors from North Hollywood. And then the last Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, it is my
wow.
my installation service. It's my installation service. And we're also installing a lot, because David Alt's one of our staff ministers as well. We're installing him, and then Reverend Christine Pena that we graduate with, she's being installed. So we have a lot of staff ministers. We have two new ministers that just graduated from Holmes Institute that will be installed. And then we're doing a rededication of all our practitioners who are giving their service to what does it mean to be a practitioner in this time and day, in this new community. So there's a lot going on.
There is
a lot going on. So I'm feeling the energy. I'm so grateful that I get to do this. It's just, so my vibe is really, really, really high. And it needs to be, especially if you look at everything else that's happening around us. It's like you're going, don't watch the news, y'all. Just don't watch the news. You'll get what you need to know. You'll know, because if you look at this, your vibe will be low, baby. The vibe will be low. You know, we talk about this all the time.
Right, or if you watch the news, then come back and watch one of our episodes.
Hello. So, today I'm really excited about this episode, and it's so full. Again, and congrats. Some people were calling me and texting me and DMing me about our last episode, the movie episode and the TV entertainment. They love that.
Oh, great.
They love that. So last week, and I have still not gotten through the first season of White Lotus. I tried to go back in, and I'm going, no, it's just not. No, looking for some spiritual meaning behind the White Lotus is just not. It's okay. And there is always spiritual meaning behind everything, but I just want to work that hard, girl.
You know what I forgot to mention during that episode was it? The Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
right. As about like a fight between good and evil, and heroes. Have
you watched the Power? It's the Ring of Power. Have you seen the series Lord of the Rings?
No.
It's on Amazon, and it's like the prequel to Lord of the Rings. It is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad we mentioned it.
And then I have another one that we didn't mention, The Wheel of Time. Have you seen The Wheel of Time?
I've heard great things about that show.
Oh, so much metaphysics. So here we go. We could really go into a part two, but we're not. We're not, y'all. We're going to take you deeper into another place where we are getting so much inspiration from, and I'm sure y'all are too. We're talking about books. What you're reading. It's like books. And I asked you to list your favorite books and all the things. I have so many. I can't even begin to tell you how many favorite spiritual books that have transformed my life. So this is our book episode, and I am so grateful I get to talk to you, because I know you got a lot of books too.
Oh, dear God. Probably too many, but I don't think that there's such a thing.
There's not such a thing. Can you have too many spiritual books?
No.
So let me ask you a question. Do you remember the very first book you ever read? It doesn't have to be spiritual, as anything. And what was that experience when you were growing up? What was that like?
And actually, I want to say that the first book that I actually read cover to cover was called No Eyes by Mary Summer Rain. Hi, Denise. Thank you.
No Eyes.
No Eyes. So Mary Summer Rain is a Native American author, and her first book was called No Eyes, and it was given to me when I was 23. I had just gone through a spiritual awakening. And
Mm.
so my friend's mother grabbed like a series of her books and said, start reading these. Because I told
Wait a
her,
minute. So that was the very first book you ever read when you were a kid?
and I can't even, I didn't have a childhood, Skip.
Oh my goodness. Say
Yeah.
more. Say more.
So when I was a kid, it was all about survival, right? My mom went from being Mrs. Brady to selling drugs and then being on the run. And so a good portion of my life, there wasn't time really to read books, but I did write my first book in the second grade,
What?
and I won an award for it.
Oh my God. What was the name of the book?
A Watch for Christmas. And it was the story of my brother asking Santa Claus for a watch after our father had left. So
Come on now. Don't make me up here crying already. Sis.
right?
Really? What was it called again?
A watch. All I want, or the name of the book was A Watch for Christmas. And a Christmas, he went outside to speak to Santa, like to speak his wish into the wind. And when Christmas came and he went under the tree to look for the watch, I wasn't there. So he was disappointed. Right. And so not only had his father left, but now he didn't receive the present he wanted. So then he waited around for the following Christmas, asked Santa one more time, will you bring me this watch? And then it was there the following Christmas.
Okay, I gotta tell you, and I'm getting a download. You still have this book?
No, but I think my mom might.
You need to get this book and create a children's book. It's
Oh,
just I just got this download that while you were saying, I'm going, how incredible this would be to have spiritual lessons for our young people. This is a children's book. Don't sleep on this, sis. Do
all
not
right.
sleep on this.
Do you know?
I got the download. I got the download.
So it's interesting that you say that, because the first time I went to Sedona and I met with several practitioners, one of them told me, you're going to write a children's book. And I thought, no, I'm not. No. And that was in 2004. That was 20 years ago.
Oh my God, sis.
So I love that you said that.
Yes.
It's already written. Okay.
It's already written. Go find that book, and it's in you still. You have this.
Yeah, I think my mom has it still.
But it's in you. God
Yeah.
planted that seed of this book. It's in you. Okay. I'm digging this. This is like God all over this. Okay. Reverend Cynthia is gonna give us a children's book, y'all. A children's book, y'all.
And it has to do with us, with the child dealing with divorce, right?
Yeah.
But I love that I can weave the spiritual principles to assist children, how to make these teachings accessible to them.
Yeah.
So my first book wasn't until I was 23.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I had a night where I did too many drugs, and I had an awakening.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Of course you did.
And
That's how it always happens. That's how it always happens.
it like cracked me open, right? It parted the veil. And so that book was about Mary Summerrain going into the mountains to meet with a woman who was blind, a Native American woman that was blind, her name was No Eyes. And every time that they would meet in this rustic cabin in the woods, No Eyes would facilitate like a physical travel through the dimensions and time and space for Mary. And Mary would be scared out of her mind. But I was so intrigued with the journey of having a teacher and diving into all things spiritual.
Oh.
So that was my first.
I gotta take a holy breath right here as we read what Hazel's first book was, the Amityville Horror. Oh, there's a lot of spiritual, meaning in that book too. I read the Amityville Horror as well, but there was a lot of lessons we learned through it. But too many to go through on this episode. Wow, that's powerful. I love learning more about you every single day. This is amazing.
And so what was it for you, Skip? What was your first?
My first book, I experienced severe dyslexia, so reading for me was a challenge. And again, I told the story. I overcame that label of dyslexic by writing books. I became a writer. But the first book that I ever read, and I do now, I'm starting because before I'm going, I still can't recall my first book. It was Dr. Seuss. It was A Cat in a Hat, Green Eggs and Ham. I remember, reading these books, and I remember they were very simple, and there was a very rhyme to it. Dr. Seuss had a beautiful rhyme to it. It was beautiful, and it was very, very deep. As much as I could articulate that it was spiritual that was happening in me, I felt connected.
Wow.
I felt really, really connected. Also, I do remember reading a child's version of Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
And because if you go to the original Alice in Wonderland, which talk about taking drugs, that's not for kids.
No, it's not.
But there's a child's version of Alice in Wonderland I remember watching. And I was more of an animation, like I love all the Disney cartoons and I love comic books. Mm-hmm. Comic books really open up the world to me because I'm a sci-fi superhero fan all day long. Give me Marvel, give me DC, give me all that. And that began to allow me to let my mind journey into other worlds. And that's what books do. Books is a journey into other worlds. It wasn't until I really began to find Maya Angelou.
Yes.
And the first deep book that I really remember as an adult reading was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first in her series of autobiographies. And I've read everything Maya Angelou ever written. Mm-hmm. Then I dove deep into The Color Purple, reading books like that. And then I started to go on this incredible journey of really allowing myself to be taken away in Lord of the Rings, mm-hmm. In The Hobbit. These books really gave me a chance to journey to another world.
I love that. You know what I just remembered as you were talking, before my mom turned drug dealer, she had bought us the children's Bible encyclopedia. Do you remember those animated books with the Bible stories?
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. So that would be probably one of my other first books reading. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I do remember. My mama had that. We had to sit down and read that, even if I didn't. Thank you for reminding me. Lord have mercy. And you remember, but do you remember what David and do you remember what all them people? They didn't look like. They were like, this does not look like David. It was like the picture of David and of Jesus and all that. I'm going, this ain't really. Even that early, I realized those picture books. It was something funky about it.
Yes, they were very bland.
Very, very bland. But they were. I could get with the pictures.
Right. I remember. Yeah, that was the way to communicate or teach children, right, about the Bible.
Exactly. So I have another question for you here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember a time, and this is when you're on your journey, do you remember a time where it doesn't have to be spiritual, it could be any type of book or anything, because every book is spiritual if you're allowed to be, that lifts you out of a lower vibrational feeling, something that really shifted you?
Yes. When I remember I was still married to the first husband, mm-hmm. right? And knew that I was unhappy, but didn't know what to do. And a Iyanla Vanzant came out with a book entitled "Yesterday I Cried," and it was her story through her very toxic marriage, mm-hmm. And everything that she had gone through. Her daughter dying, she put herself through law school. She left the toxic relationship, and I just remember boohooing my way through that book. And eventually arriving at the courage to make a change. Yesterday I Cried was an incredible book.
Wow. That's a very powerful book. I think In the Meanwhile, or In the Meantime, or In the Meanwhile was one of my very first Iyanla Vanzant books.
Yes.
And one of the books I read today still is acts of faith. I don't know if you have this as a daily devotion. Yella, what I love about how Yella breaks it down, she just let's call a thing a thing.
Mm-hmm.
She is no, let's not sugarcoat it. I love the realness of her telling, and she's told her story of how she has, how she was in the lower vibrational frequency and she lifted up and she rose and she rise and she got up and she fixed her life, which led to fixing other people's lives. I love the authenticity and the vulnerability of her writing.
And the transparency, which you guys were discussing during the panel.
Exactly. I have to share this because Denise says this. Yes. Great idea. Children's books is Reverend Skip. The actual song "All I Want for Christmas" was written by Mariah Carey when she was actually in foster care, and all she wanted was her mom. And looking at what came, yes, that's powerful.
I didn't know Mariah was ever in foster care. I assumed
didn't know that either. I did.
Yeah.
You learn something on this show every single day. You do. Yes.
Amazing.
I think I'm going to ask myself the question, and I'm going through because there's many books that have helped me to lift up my vibration, my energy around, being in a low vibrational energy to rise up.
Yes.
And I would think probably, I feel that Maya Angelou's work has been that kind of, I don't want to say savior, but has been that powerful awakening for me. And her autobiographies are so incredibly amazing. Another incredible book, and I said this already, but The Color Purple.
Yes.
I mean, The Color Purple dropped me into some serious feels about me as a Black person in America and living in our history.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is this rising up of resilience, of overcoming, of forgiveness and love and kindness. Because the end, spoiler alert,
yeah,
the end of the book is different. They became friends. Celie and Mr. becomes friends and like family. So Suge, Celie, and Mr., they're friends.
Wow.
And so how do we overcome this place of unforgiveness?
Yeah.
Love, and kindness.
I love that, Skip. I love that.
Yeah. So in this idea of books right now, this next question is for just to really tap into, what one book would you recommend to everyone right now that they got to read? And I said one because I know it's going to be tough for you. What's the one book that you could recommend for our readers to chew on to lift their vibrational energy? Because we want to live a high vibe life.
Yeah.
So what's the one book?
So you guys will probably find this interesting, but it's a children's book. And it's...
I don't. I find it just right in alignment. Another children's book coming through. What is it?
So this children's book is called The Little Soul and the Sun. And it was written, I think it was written around 2002 by Neil Donald Walsh, after he had released his Conversation with God books. So I recommend the two, The Conversation with God, especially volume 1, and then this children's book that he wrote about the little soul and the sun, because it has a way of communicating concepts that are not easy to accept. So in that book, it's about two souls hanging out in heaven, and one of the souls expressing their desire to grow in certain ways. One of the souls says, "I want to be able to forgive the unforgivable." His best friend says, "I'll come to earth and I'll help you, and I'll be the one to do the thing that you're going to have to forgive. But I'm going to need you to remember who I am, because I'm going to be so deep in character that I will forget." Right? So that helped me to begin to heal a lot of what I was holding on to.
Yeah.
And later I encountered that same concept with Dr. Sue, which is another book that I recommend, The Energy Codes. But she describes it as the bus stop conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Hanging out in heaven before arriving here, setting up, recruiting all the folks that are going to help you to facilitate the experiences that are going to grow you.
That's very powerful. Very, very powerful. I read both of those books.
Yes.
And some people like, one of my best friend, my best friend Bill, he loves that book, Conversations with God.
Mhm.
It was good. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna be a critic here. It
Uh-huh.
touches, I love how books can touch people's hearts in certain ways and go, yeah, that's my favorite book. That's my favorite book. So I got a lot out of it, but one of the books that I'm going to recommend right now,
Mhm.
very simple, The Four Agreements.
Oh, absolutely.
The Four Agreements, if you want some deep shifting in your life and you're looking for personal freedom, because The Four Agreements is a book on your personal freedom, a Toltec way of living your personal freedom. The
Mhm.
Four Agreements, be impeccable with your words. Don't take anything personally. That would be me. Um, Never assume anything and always do your best. And, after the Four Agreements, he talks about, you love that. Denise says, I love the Four Agreements. Yes, 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 yes. But
Mhm.
then he explains to what is the Toltec path of freedom. It's recognizing that we've been domesticated. We have
Mhm.
made these old agreements with our lives because we've been taught by our parents and our mothers and our fathers and our teachers that we act a certain way, we'll get a certain thing. If we act a certain way, it'll be taken away from us. So we've been domesticated. And he talks about the only real free person is a child at the age of 2, 3, 4, because they're wild. They do what they want and they
Mhm.
live in the moment. Most of us don't live in the moment. Most of us are living in the fear of the future or regret of the past.
Mhm.
And the reason why this is, every time I go back to, I've read the Four Agreements, I think maybe 6 times now. Every time I go back to it, I just rewrote it, rewrote it. Listen to me. I did not write that. It's Don Miguel Ruiz. I didn't write that book. When I reread the book, it was also brand new to me. So that's why I go back to these books and
Mhm.
and this one book, it's the go-to book for me when I want a major shift. But we have a lot of different books that we're going to talk about. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. We have a lot of books we're going to talk about, but it's so, I love this. I love this conversation.
I
Oh yeah,
love it.
you guys are here at the New Thought Media Network. You're on the High Vibe Hour with myself and Reverend Cynthia. Let's take a little bit of break.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents the High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.
Yes, and we are back, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are in our book episode. A lot of richness have already come through this conversation. Thank you, Rev. Who what books do you read of your mentors? Because you and I are very fortunate to
Mhm.
have some really one-on-one mentoring. Not
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, you're my mentor," and you've never met that person, because you can't have a mentor and not meet that person. We've been mentored by a lot of great spiritual authors and teachers. And what book are you reading from one of your mentors right now?
And I read this one book like twice a year because I teach it as well, right? So The Energy Codes by Dr. Sue Morter is one of them.
Hello, you
Mhm.
better preach.
And every time I read it, and Hazel can attest, she's been in my classes, I always pick up new information. It lands. My consciousness grows. I unfold over time. So when I revisit the book, I get new insights,
Mm,
right?
wow. Wow.
So that's one of them. What
Yeah.
about you?
I would think what comes to mind automatically is the visioning process.
Hmm.
Life Visioning by Michael Beckwith. And, that book really invites me every time I read it to really be open and available to download a new vision for my life, which is not my vision, but it's God's vision. And so when I tap into this incredible book,
Hmm.
and I read, and I read Spiritual Liberation as well, as one of my favorite books as well. What I don't like getting starstruck. It's
Hmm.
something about my mentor. When I get around, I'm like, I'm this little bubbling little kid at Agape.
Hmm.
And especially I'm doing the way of meditation at the end of the month, that I get to go and be a beneficial presence and do the reading and then I'll sit down in the audience. I'll go, I can't believe that I get to hang with this person, or I get to be in the presence, or I have for years. And this is like, I guess you can call it spiritual starstruckness, but he is so open and willing to just get what he's downloading.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate, right? That we have these amazing teachers um, that are masters truly, and that they're still here with us, and that we have access to them. Um, I always revisit his 40-day mind fast.
All the time. That's on my favorite book list. My
Mhm.
favorite book list.
That one, and you know what other one I revisit often too, or I share it when I do the prayer calls for Agape or Reverend Jason.
Mhm.
This, or even when I do Somos Agape, Agape en Español, I will
Yeah.
trans, I will translate things from this thing called You by Ernest Holmes.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
a lot of the Goldsmith books I
Yeah.
revisit. So even though
Yeah.
they're not here, they're still incredibly relevant.
Teachers.
Yeah.
You mentioned 40-day mind fast soul feast.
Mhm.
Here's the genius of this book is my book, the little book for big transformation, is actually kind of based. I was inspired from
Mhm.
40-day mind fast. So I did 31 days of spiritual practices and insights. What I love about his 40-day mind fast, because a lot of people get stuck in the head.
Mhm.
And we're thinking. And Michael Beckwith invites us to have a soul feast, the
Yeah.
feast in the soul and the enlightenment of the soul, and become one with your soul. So these practices that he invites us to have and these insights are definitely drop us into the soul feeling.
Mhm.
We got to take a fast from the mind. I mean,
You
the
have
mind, you have to, girl. You got to
to,
take a little break from the mind. A little break
right?
from the mind.
Gotta pull it out of the driver's seat and put it in the passenger,
Ooh, wait a minute. Say that again.
right? You got to take the mind out of the driver's seat and put it where it belongs in the passenger seat. It has to be the heart. It has to be the soul that's doing the leading.
So how do you do that though? Because I mean, some people are like, okay, that's good. So how do you get out of your head and get into your heart? What do you do to do this?
I love what you mentioned, becoming available to God's vision. So right now I'm experiencing a pinched nerve, right? And the body is always speaking to us. The body feels it and it sends the information to the mind, right? So anytime that there's a pain or something going on, I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? And I heard this loud and clear just before we started the podcast.
Mhm.
Trying to do what you want to do, surrender to God's vision. And I was like, oh, okay. Is that why this pain is here? I'm still trying to do it my way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I believe, and this is, I had a great conversation with my friend Bill this morning. Part of this is that we get really stuck in the head.
mhm,
We get stuck. We never drop into, because as even Ernest Holmes, you mentioned Joel Goldsmith, Michael Beckwith, it's more than what we think. It's our feeling tone, the energy we radiate out, because we become a magnet for more of what we're radiating out, folks. So it's not about what you're thinking, what you're reading.
mhm,
It's about how do we shift our feeling, our energy, to be masters of our self-mastery is mastering your emotions.
mhm,
And I believe in science of mind. This is me, Skippyism. I believe that we get really stuck in that first principle: shift your thinking, change your life.
mhm,
So we're constantly going, let me change my thinking. Let me change my thinking. Let me change my thinking. Let me change my thinking, where we have done a bypass rule. How do we have a shift in our feeling? Our friend Ricky Byers said
mhm.
this to me in Florida. She was visiting, she was doing a concert in Florida, and she said to me, excuse me, we were talking about having a new thought, and she said straight to me, says, Skip, we gotta stop. And this is my Ricky Byers impression, so don't tell her I did. To go, Skip, we gotta stop having a new thought. We gotta have a new feeling.
Oh, wow.
That just dropped me into, oh yeah.
Mhm,
Because I was stuck in my head of why things weren't working in Florida. This was happening, and they didn't like me here, and I was on this. It's like, just like, stop.
mhm.
How about we shift and have a new feeling? Because the feeling tone that we radiate out is what we're going to become a magnet for.
Mhm.
I just had this conversation with my friend Bill about that, having a new feeling. But part of this too, I believe it does start with shifting your thinking. But how
Mhm.
do we take something that rings true in our minds and drop into our heart? Oh, that really resonates with me. So I'm going to meditate on the feeling tone of what I just thought. I'm going to take it and drop it into this space and
Yes.
meditate on it.
I love what you're saying. So it is shifting our thinking, and then there is some action, right, that we take. You have to have the follow through, which is typically what happens. Because I can hang out in my mind all day, right? I'm addicted to my thinking. Uh,
Ooh,
I'm a
so am
Gemini.
I.
I'm an air sign. I can hang out up here all day long. The challenge is to bring it into the body once
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is an
yeah.
insight, right? And drop it in here. What action am I being inspired to
You
take
know,
on this new thought,
you know.
right?
Preach, preach. And
So,
I'm a Gemini Cancer, Charles.
are you?
So I am air and I am water. I'm like, woo,
Mhm.
in the water, because water is a conduit for transformation in insights and creativity. This is where we're thinking in our consciousness, in our mind, up in the air space, but we have to bring it down, as above, so below. And part of that work is, how do we get it out of here in the thinking and drop it into the feeling?
Often people get inspired, right? And then there isn't enough momentum to carry us through the entirety of the new project. Unless we start to come into the body, unless you start to drop from the mind into the body, then the plan fizzles out halfway. So I love that you teach yoga, because that's a great that's a great way to get out of your mind and into the body.
Absolutely. What I'm hearing you say for me right now is that spiritual follow through.
There you go.
I get great insights all the time. My best place for insights is showers. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what I should do? I
Mhm.
should. And then in the light visioning, one of my favorite books, The Light Vision Process, or Light Visioning by Michael Bernard Beckwith, it says that we must fall in love with the discipline to see a demonstration of the vision, or a manifestation of the vision. I'm paraphrasing, but I know what he means. We
Mhm.
have to do the work.
Yeah.
There's still work to be done. We can catch the vision. Remember Lisa Sprinkles from Mother Spring. I love her so much. And she
Mhm.
since made a transition. She saw her famous quote. She used to say to me all the time, Skip, we got
Mhm.
to treat and move our feet.
Yeah.
the universe requires action to act upon. Ram Dass, and I'm deep into Ram Dass here and now. I listen to podcasts every week, and and he talks about this. We believe that it's the work of getting on the mat, getting to ceremony, getting into meditation. That is called practice, y'all. The real work is the integration of what you downloaded on that yoga mat to go out and live it while you out driving on the highways, or when you're interacting with your friends or your family or your neighbor you don't like. How do we integrate this space of love? Or whatever we're studying, it can be love, but everything's love. Everything's either love or reminder for more love. Part of this work is to integrate it, to get into action with what we're learning from these books that we're talking about today.
Right. So we access inspiration or access a new perspective. And then how do you bring that into your life and apply it, right? So that you can create a sustainable shift and change.
What is the book that takes you right into action? What is that book that drops you right into the embodiments? What's the embodiment book for you?
Probably the energy codes. Everything is designed to bring us, everything that she teaches in that book is designed to bring us inward. And there's a lot of teaching around coming into the heart, getting out of the mind, right? And coming into the body. So for me, the embodiment book for me is the energy codes by Dr. Sue. And like I said, I've read it probably 8 times, and it's not an easy book to read.
It's not, but well, I mean, once you read it, go back and read it again, because it will come to life in a different way, in a new way. What I loved about the energy codes, and it's one of my go-to books as well. I haven't read it in a while, so I'm gonna go back to it. The central channel breathing.
Yes.
I practice that. Even I found myself even teaching in meditation and teaching in yoga class. And I know, because I've read it so many times and practiced so many, it's just coming out naturally. And I asked my yoga class to begin the breath below the earth, breathe in all the way through, and I added my little something to it myself, and I say, okay, and breathe all the way up through the root chakra, the sacral chakra, your solar plex chakra, your heart chakra. Breathe all the way up into your throat chakra and your third eye, your first eye, into your crown chakra, and then breathe all the way up into the ethers. And let's bring it back down, y'all, from the ethers all the way to the chakra system, all the way to your body, into the floor, into the earth. That's Sue Morta's work.
It is. And it's even more ancient than that, right? Because, well, granted, she had an awakening to the information. And then later she confirmed it, or it was backed up. The ahas and the awarenesses that she was having, she later discovered in ancient Vedic texts and so forth, right? But I love that you are incorporating that, because when somebody's working on embodiment, when getting out of their mind and out of their head, I teach them the same breath, right? And I tell them, don't ever not do it. Do it all day long, every day for the rest of your life, to bring in more of the invisible part of yourself into this physical body.
Yeah. You know, I think it was Sue Morta I first heard say that your breath is the representation of your soul.
Breath is spirit in the body.
Breath is spirit in the body. And then so you go back to a wonderful song of Ricky and Michael's song, "The Breath of God is Breathing Me."
Yes.
I am breathing the breath of God. It's like, oh, wait, what?
That's what I love that happens now for me, is like, when I study her stuff or I'm reading her stuff, I see her teachings sprinkle or throughout agape. They're all saying the same thing in a different way.
Even beyond agape. And vice versa. Like, one of the greatest books that that really shifted me was Wayne Dyer's The Power of Intention.
Yes.
And I still use that, because he talks about the 7 phases of intention, which is creativity, it's love, it's beauty, expansion, abundance. When we get into an intention for him, he says that we are not intention is not something we intend to do. Intention is the energy we use to manifest the life that we want.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at you talking about divine qualities, my brother.
Yeah.
You're talking about divine qualities. What is the energy you're going to cultivate to manifest the life you truly want? Some of us get stuck in I want to say the situation,
Mhm.
the lower frequency of the situation. But when we choose to tap onto cultivating a quality, an intention, that shifts us into a higher vibration.
And I like the other famous quote of his that says, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change.
Hello. You don't get what you're looking for, you get where you're looking from.
Right. And to me, that resonates with the 4 stages of evolution that Reverend Michael teaches and writes about. Yeah. Right. Because if we're viewing a circumstance through the eyes or the lens of victim, right, we're going to continue to experience a similar circumstance. So change the way that you're looking at this thing. And Dr. Seuss says there are no problems. There are only creative solutions trying to break through.
Hello.
Right.
Hello.
They're all doing the same thing.
There are no, I say, and I'm teaching this in yoga class, there is no issues, just invitations for growth. There are no problems. It's your invitation for growth. So I can't believe this is going so quickly, but I got to give me 5 of your top books that you are recommending for our viewers and listeners, and I'll give my top 5.
All right. So assuming that everybody is just looking to access more of like their next iteration, right? I would say Spiritual Liberation by Reverend Michael.
Bam.
Right? The Energy Codes by Dr. Sue Morter. Life Finds a Way by Cynthia Ambrose. Yes. Because if I could do
working.
There was a book that just recently came out by Marianne Williamson called The Mystic Jesus. Yeah. And it knocked my socks off. It was so good.
Everyone's talking about it. I have not gotten a chance to drop into it. I've not had a chance to drop into it. Hazel says Energy Codes is one of hers as well. She loves Energy Codes. Not a victim, a victor. I love that. Maria. Yes. Energy. Look at this. Look at this. It's Energy Codes. It is an amazing book. You got to get it. And you have one more. That you're going to your top.
Let me see. I love Ernest Holmes. I continue to go back to it throughout the year. Science of Mind. It was overwhelming in the beginning. I take it in small chunks over time. It's jam packed with wisdom.
It's so powerful. It is absolutely powerful. And I just got a real incredible download. You mentioned your own book.
Yeah.
And I'm always denying my own spiritual greatness. I don't ever put my own book in my top favorite books. And my book this month, the Little Book for Big Transformation, is the book of the month on a Wednesday night. And we're doing readings from the book, and I'm hearing it. I'm going, well, who wrote that book?
Oh, exactly.
God wrote it through me. And people came up to me going, oh my goodness, it's a powerful writing. So I was fighting using my book as a book of the month for Wednesday night, because we do spiritual readings every Wednesday night. I was like, I don't want, and this person, why not? What are you afraid of? Why are you not using your own spiritual writing? So my top favorite book, I'm going to start off with the Little Book for Big Transformations, 31 Days of Interventions and Spiritual Practices. I have to put that on the list now.
We do, yes.
Number 2 would be 365 Science of Mind. I have it right here, y'all. I read this almost every single day. You can't even see it because of the light. My light's so bright, you can't see it. I'm shining so bright, you can't see it. 365 Science of Mind, absolutely. 7,000 Ways to Listen, Mark Nepo. And in that same with Mark Nepo, The Endless Practice. Chaw.
Yeah.
Of course, I said the 4 Agreements. I have 2 books by Michael Beckwith. Of course, Spiritual Liberation, and also we already said the 48 Mind Fast, so I'm just giving you more and life visioning. My last favorite book, and this is a hard one, but I didn't really mention it. It is The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown.
Her books are great. I love them.
I think it opened up where I was operating the ego for me. It really did, of where my perfectionism was getting in the way. I think I even quoted her in my book about being a perfectionist. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. And sometimes I gotta, remind, you're in your perfectionism, yo. And what rides hand in hand with perfectionism? Shame and blame.
Yeah.
So Brene, so that's probably I have so many more. I think we just need to get a list and post it on our Facebook pages and just say, this is our book. So we'll have to get to with our favorite books. We'll have to do that.
One more.
Yeah. What's yours?
And I think maybe this is where you're heading. I haven't read it yet, but it's on my list of what to get next.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins has a book called Let Them.
Yes.
Let Them.
That is Oprah Winfrey's book. Was like, yes. Everyone's telling me you gotta read that. You gotta read that. Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Let's do it. We're gonna be some reading people. Summer's coming. And when do you read most of your books? In the summer. That's when we read most of our books. Hey, tell us quickly, because you still have a retreat that you're going to be taking people to Bali. And you know what? Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah.
The Bali trip. Bali, that book. When I read about Bali, I'm going to Bali. And look at you. You're going to Bali. I went last year. I'm going to go in 2026. You're going this year. Tell people about your Bali trip, yo.
So I'll be working a lot with the energy codes teachings while we are there. And it's going to be mid-July, right? July 13th through the 24th.
That's right.
And it's going to be an intimate group. So you're going to get a lot of attention, a lot of support, and talk about learning about embodiment while you're there, so that you come home ready to implement it and make changes.
And they can find out more information by going to your website.
At cynthiaambries.org. And there's a tab for the Bali retreat on the website.
I love that. I'm so excited for you. And I'm even, because I was going to go on the trip with you and I was going to go and do the yoga. And I'm so grateful that Spirit says, Cynthia is going to go with Cricket and they're going to do their thing. You need to go off someplace and get some rest. So while you're going in the end of July, I'm going to go to London.
I'm excited.
I'm going to London. I'm going to the West End. I'm going to see, because I've seen the Harry Potter, the Cursed Child, because I'm a big, huge. That's another group of books. I've read all the Harry Potter's books. I've read all those. I love Another World. And I'm going to see, because I saw it here in LA, The Cursed Child, but then there is this 2-part way you go in the matinee and you come back in the evening performance. It's in 2 parts. I'm going to go see that. I'm actually going to see the new ABBA show. And there's another couple of shows in the West End I'm going to see. And then I'm going to head over to Dublin to see some friends I haven't seen in Ireland. So I'm going to go and play. That's what I'm going to do. So, where can people find you on social media?
At I am Cynthia Ambries on Instagram, or Cynthia Ambries Counseling as well on Instagram, and Cynthia Ambries on Facebook. And of course, my website is cynthiaambries.org.
And tell us about the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living.
So yes, there are, I think, 2 centers here. This one is called Las Vegas Centers for Spiritual Living. And if you're ever in town, come in so that you can have your vibration lifted.
Love that. Lift your vibration. I love that. Hey, everyone, you can follow me and you can find me through my website, skipjennings.com. Brand new website, y'all. We just revamped it. You can find out about my Bali trip that's coming up in 2026. You can sign up for the newsletter. We come out every week with something new, some information. We just dropped our latest newsletter today on springtime. Happy spring, y'all. Happy time to rise. Also, I am at the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, as I've said before, on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do something called the Wednesday Wake Up, where we just get to wake up in many different ways. We have a panel. Last week we had a panel. Next week I'll be giving a couple of talks. And then at the end of every month, we do a healing service through sound bowls. And healing is a beautiful, talking about the biohack. Sound bowls is so incredibly dope. So we do that. So please join us on a Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, y'all, listen, this is a ministry. So if you want to support this ministry here, which is a great ministry, y'all, I want you to go to our website here at the not North, I almost said something else. The New Thought Media Network is ntmedia.org. What a mouthful. /donate to support the ministry. And also you can go directly to myself and Rev Cynthia. What's your PayPal, sis?
It's my email address. It's Cindy, CYNDI, period, my last name, Ambrose@gmail.com.
So you can give a donation there, or you can go directly to me. I am Reverend Skip Jennings. On PayPal, though, it's skip@skipjennings.com. We love donations. We love donations.
We won't turn them away.
We will not turn. We're not going to say no. And so here's the thing I'm going to say about donating, and we give as we freely we freely receive as we freely give. We freely give as we freely receive, and that is the law of circulation. So give a donation, y'all. Help support this ministry.
And thank you so much for staying in. All these great comments from Maria and Mary. And Hazel.
Thank you, and Hazel. And yes, we love that. So this is interactive, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to us and hanging out with us. And remember, you can always view these over and over again on our website, or actually on our Facebook page or our YouTube page, the New Thought Media Network. Make sure you get some old, some not old episodes, older episodes, and also check out other shows that are here on this network. It's really, really super great things that are happening here. Hey, sis, I adore you. And it goes by so quickly.
I know. Thank you. I love that we get to have like a community practice session, and that we are forever students. And it's just funner in a group. Thank you.
It's funner in a group. I love it. Listen, you called the community practice session. I love it. I love it so much. Hey, y'all. Hey, be kind to people. Kindness is free, and we need it right now into this world. Remember, transformation is a choice, and you can choose today. Until next week, peace and blessings.
Share the video.
Yes. Share, share.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time.